Directions for your circle painting. Remember your name and teacher code on the back. Before you begin, you need to fold your paper so you have 4 different sections. Very carefully pull one side across to the other, making sure that the edges are lined up as straight as possible. Hold on securely with one hand and use the other hand to press down a nice flat crease, and then carefully fold it again so it looks like a small square, lining up your edges. So really take your time in your folding, and then hold it securely with one hand and use the other hand to crease the paper. Then when you open it, you should have 4 different little sections. Before you begin with paint, you'll use a circle dot sticker and you'll place it right in the middle of that plus that you've kind of created with your fold lines, and make sure that sticker is really securely on there. Then you'll start adding your repeating or concentric circles, any color of your choice. They should be about the thickness of your finger, so you have an idea of how wide your circles should be. And when you add the paint, if it's not going on very smoothly, then you probably need a little bit more paint on your brush. Remember, if you use the tippy top of your brush, you're going to get a much skinnier line than if you just gently press your brush down just a little bit to get a little bit wider line. Really take your time on this. It is okay if you leave a little space between circles as you paint, so that later when the colors kind of gradually dry, then you don't have to worry about colors mixing that you don't want to mix. And once again, remember that your circle should be about the width of your finger. If it's a little thicker or thinner, that's completely fine. And as your paint dries, you can easily make corrections. If you're concerned about colors mixing while they're still wet, you could leave a little space in between circles and then come back later and add a color in the white space once the surrounding colors are dry. If you'd like to make your own colors, you can using either the placemat or just a scrap sheet of paper that I provide you. Just do your best not to mix inside of the egg carton, because others at your table or others using the paint will probably not want the colors mixed. So make sure that every time you dunk into a color and you switch, that you're rinsing your brush very, very thoroughly and blotting it before you dip into a new color. And then continue the process, creating circles. As I said, you can leave space in between them if you're worried about colors mixing that you don't want to mix. At cleanup time, remember to place a piece of cardboard underneath your project and place it on the drying rack. And don't worry if you don't get all your painting done on the first day. We will definitely spend more than one day painting. For the final step, we will glue different mixed up sections onto an old placemat. And hopefully you did nice, good creases the first time so that it's easier to refold it with the paint on it. Same thing, you're going to carefully line up your edges, holding it securely with one hand and using your other hand to re-crease those lines so you can see them very well for cutting. Once you're done folding, you'll have those same 4 squares, and then now we can see those lines better. And in fact, I like to flip my paper over to do the cutting, because I feel like you can see those lines even better. And when you do your cutting, cut very, very slowly to keep your lines as straight as you possibly can, so that when you glue them down, they look as square-like as possible. It's okay if they're not perfect, but definitely take your time. You're going to have a new back to your project. Don't forget your name on that placemat. And you're going to position your squares so that you have two that have the original middle. And then the other two squares, you're going to put that outside corner now on the inside. And they will both be diagonal from each other. And what's really great about this is if there's any space in between, that cool painty placemat will be a neat little kind of added pop of color, and it will sort of camouflage any lines that are a little bit wobbly. When you do your gluing, make sure that you use small dots of glue. Carefully line it up on your paper. You might have to press it so it holds down. Sometimes it wants to curl up with the paint on there. And you'll repeat this until all of your squares are all glued down. While your glue is still a little bit wet, you can still make some adjustments. And then I always like to flip my projects over and massage the back to make sure that glue's really spread out and makes it nice and flat and stuck down well.